For 3 years, Kamala Harris went out bragging that she was going to undo Donald Trump's border policy. She did exactly that. We had a record number of illegal crossings.
Vance repeatedly said that Kamala Harris, as vice president, was responsible for the open border in crisis. But the reality is that Vice President Harris has never been in charge of border security. The VP does not have the direct power to enact or undo border policy. Her role as the so-called border czar meant that she led diplomatic missions, i.e. she was looking for ways to boost US aid to Central America, to discourage migrants from even coming to the US. And in fact, under her tenure, illegal immigration from Central America has dropped by 35%.
She's been the vice president for 3.5 years. She had the opportunity to enact all of these great policies, and what she's actually done instead is drive the cost of food higher.
Again, the vice president does not enact their own policies. Their role when it comes to policy is to advise the president and to serve as the tie-breaking vote in the Senate. Let's also take a moment to just say monetary policy, i.e. controlling inflation levers, is controlled by the Fed, and the majority of price spikes that we've seen can be attributed to the global disruption of the COVID pandemic. But the Fed just lowered interest rates for the first time since March 2020. So to many, this is a sign that inflation is actually cooling.
What have Kamala Harris's policies actually led to? More energy production in China, more manufacturing overseas. So if we actually care about getting cleaner air and cleaner water, the best thing to do is to double down and invest in American workers and the American people. And unfortunately, Kamala Harris has done exactly the opposite.
Okay, Vance is probably talking about the Inflation Reduction Act, which again was enacted by the Biden administration, not just Harris. However, as vice president, Kamala Harris did cast the tie-breaking vote to pass the IRA, which, as a reminder, was an investment into American workers for renewable energy production. It literally gave Americans billions of dollars in tax credits and was the biggest climate change investment in US history. It also created hundreds of thousands of American jobs. So yeah, a reminder, the VP has its own role in the US government, and it's not the same as the president's role. It's like Vance and Trump got so thrown off by Harris replacing Biden as the Democratic pick that they've maybe forgotten how the executive branch works.